Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to all my lovely regular viewers, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. So as usual, it's going to be another Glitterbels tutorial, and for a change I'm going to be using some of the Glitterbels gel polish. So I'm going to start off with this video with showing you how I do my prep. So I will be infilling these nails. I'll not be doing a fresh set. So I'll show you how I go from changing one design onto another. So the design I have on the nails here is just another gel polish design. So I'm taking my hand file and just removing all of that gel polish. Then I will file in any of the acrylic around the cuticle area. And because I am also going to rebalance these nails, I will also flatten down the apex area so that I can replace the apex in a better place, just to make sure my nails are balanced now that they've started to grow out. You can always go ahead and remove the gel polish using your e-file on not too high speed, and just with a, not really a coarse e-file bit. I'm just using my hand file today only because it's not a full coverage of the gel colour, and I think that whenever I'm doing it this way, I'm also doing the filing in and starting off my preparation work as well. So I think sometimes when you do it with your e-file, then you still always have to go in with your hand file anyway. So whenever I'm doing an infill with something like this, I usually just use the hand file. So as usual, just to keep the length of the video down for you guys, I'm only going to show you the prep, the gel polish removal and the prep on one nail, because it's all done exactly the same on the rest of the nails. So now that I have all the gel polish all filed off, I'm going to go ahead and start my prep work. So I have pushed back my cuticles, and now I'm going in with a diamond e-file bit, and this is going to be remove any of the dead skin. So this little e-file bit does the same job as what the ball e-file bits would do. I prefer to use these rather than the ball. I think it's just personal preference. I kind of think this does a better job. So I'll go around all the nail with this, and then I'm going to go in with my little cuticle bit, and that is going to be for underneath the cuticle area to remove any of the old cuticle that could be stuck to the nail plate. So this little diamond bit is more for around the nail plate, the skin around the nail plate. So I've just went ahead and changed over to the little cuticle e-file bit. So this is pointed at the end, so it will slide under just ever so slightly underneath that cuticle area and into those sidewalls. You're not really going over the nail plate too much. It's more around the sides and the cuticle. I do go on very, very slightly if I do see any cuticle stuck to the nail plate. And then after I've done all that, I go in with my nippers just to remove any of the excess cuticle. So I've just went in again with this little diamond bit just to go along the cuticle area again, and then that will be the prep done for this nail. I'm just going to give it a quick wipe over it with some alcohol, and you'll be able to see the prep in just a tick. So you can see I pointed out there that I took the apex area away. So whenever I'm replacing the acrylic, I'll build up that apex in the correct place. So as your nail grows out, your apex moves. So it is important whenever you're doing any maintenance or infills on the nails, that you go ahead and you make sure that the apex is still in the correct place. So if you've watched any of my videos over the last lot of weeks, you will notice that I kind of lost my little finger. My husband accidentally kicked it by mistake. So what I'm doing is I'm just sculpting this one out. I'm not applying any of the primer or dehydrator to this nail, because I will take it off more or less straight away after this video. I want to make sure that the nail grows out properly, and then that way it's going to be secure enough for me to continually wear extensions on it again. So I'm just going to sculpt it out with Glitterbels floral nail forms, which I absolutely love. They come with a little perforated section on them, so you can remove the length of it just to give you a shorter form, or you can keep the length on it and go for a nice long nail like I'm doing here. So I'm going in with Nude Blush Cover, which really is my go-to base colour with Glitterbels if I'm wanting a nude background. I absolutely love the colour of it. I do love working with it, and I think that it, for my skin tone, I think that it matches it better than all the rest. With this little finger, I'm only going to sculpt it out very, very thinly because I am going to do it the way I'm doing the rest of the nails. So I have just quite a thin layer of the acrylic on, and then I'm going to be using some nail foil, which I'm going to encapsulate with the glass slippers, but I'm also going to do like an ombre finish with them. So I want to make sure that the nails aren't going to be too thick, which is why I'm sculpting it out so thinly. I went ahead and filed and shaped the little finger off camera, and now I'm going to give them a quick wipe over, and then I'm going to apply some of Glitter Planet's Foil Mate, which is what I use whenever I'm using any of the nail foils. I think it's one of the best ones out there. There's some, you know, some other ones out there that, I don't know, it's like they're not sticky enough, and I think that this one is absolutely fab. So I'm only going to be doing this on the little finger, the pointer finger and the thumb. Sorry, I'm kind of out of shot there at the minute, but when I'm doing the thumb here, you can see I'm back in frame. So yeah, I'm going to place this on the nails, and I'm going to cure it for 60 seconds in my LED lamp. So they've all been cured, and now I have sized up the nail foil against the nails, and then I'm just going to cut them to size. So now all I have to do is to place them onto the nail and press really, really hard, just to make sure that the foil has covered the entire adhesive area. So this foil, you don't have to do anything with it. There are some, especially the likes of the metallic forms, foils, the metallic foils, they have like a white background on them, and you have to give it a wipe over with some acetone. I actually don't know why they do that, but anyway, with this one you don't need to. You literally just set it on the nails, press it in, and make sure that there's no like dips or anything, that there's no creases, and then just peel it off as if you're waxing. So as long as you know that you have pressed all that foil into the adhesive, whenever you whip it back, it should leave the entire pattern there. So now that I've got all the foil on, I'm going to apply a base coat over the top of them. I'm going to cure them for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to give it a buff with a very, very soft buffer. The reason I'm doing this is you kind of need a matte surface to apply the acrylic on. You could go over with a matte top coat, but I'm doing it this way just so that I know that it's completely sealed. The base coat, I don't know, it kind of stops it from chipping as well if you weren't going to be encapsulating it. So if you're doing like your chromes or your foils, I would always put the foil on, then base coat, and then my top coat, and you'll find that your foils won't chip as much. So this is the little buffer that I'm using, and it's just ever so slightly. It's literally just to take the shine off them, and then I can go in with my Glitterbels dehydrator and primer and start the infilling process. And as this is just an infill service and maintenance, I'm only going to apply the dehydrator and the acid-free primer to the natural nail area only. So this part of the video I have kept it in real time so that you can see the full acrylic application. So I'm going to go in with a fairly wet bead. I'm going to place it just at the cuticle area. I have my thumb pointed downwards. That's going to make sure that none of that acrylic floods into the cuticle area and into the side walls. So I'm going to blend that down over the snake print foil, and that's going to be, I'm classing this as my cuticle bead, so I am doing this a little bit backward than what you would normally do. So you would normally go in with your apex bead and then your cuticle bead. But because this is an infill service, I've already had an apex bead on, if you know what I mean. I just need to go ahead and reposition my apex. So this is the apex bead that I'm going into now. So I'm going to place that just where the stress area would be on your natural nail bed. So you can see that it's really just where the ombre meets the snake print foil. So I'm blending that back into the cuticle area, and then I'm going to give it a sweep down into the rest of that, down the rest of that nail plate. So moving on now to the pointer finger, and in again with a fairly wet bead and placed just at the cuticle area. So again, I have my pointer finger pointing downwards so that gravity is going to do its thing and pull that acrylic away from the cuticle and the side walls. Then I'll blend it in over the snake print foil, and then I'll go back in the same as the thumb and do my apex bead. So in with the apex bead, and I'm placing it just more or less where the natural free edge ends and where the length begins of the extension, if you know what I mean. And then I'm blending it into the rest of the acrylic around the cuticle area, and then sweeping it over the snake print foil. Onto the middle finger and the ring finger, and this is just going to be a straightforward maintenance infill. So again, cuticle bead, my finger is pointed downward and it's a fairly wet bead, so I'm tucking it in around the cuticle area, and then I'll go ahead and sweep it down into the rest of that acrylic. As the middle finger and the ring finger, they don't have any foil on them, so I won't be encapsulating anything on this nail. So I am placing an extra bead of acrylic in just to make the nail symmetrical and just make sure that it's really well balanced and it's not going to break. So I'm going to let you go ahead and watch the rest of the nails being done, and I'll come back just after I've applied all the acrylic. So now I've applied all the nude blush cover, and all that's left to do is to encapsulate the snake skin foils. That's a mouthful. So I'm going to do that with the glass slippers. So I'm going to place it more or less before that apex bead, and I'm going to feather it up and blend it up backwards into the apex bead, and then I'll bring it down the rest of the nail, just making sure that all that foil is completely encapsulated. So now that all the nails have all been capped in the glass slippers, I'm going to go ahead and do my filing routine. So as you know, if you're one of my regular viewers, I normally always start at the side walls and make sure they're nice and flush. But this time I'm getting in with my 5-in-1 e-file bit first to go around the cuticle area and just make sure that they're nice and flush, and then I'll move on to my Glitterbels metal board file. So working with my e-file bit, especially around the cuticle area, I do have it on quite a slow rotation, so it's probably on about 8,000 to 10,000 RPMs. So now I've finished with the e-file, I'm going to go in with just my hand file now and just finish off the rest of the nail, just making sure that everything is nice and straight and symmetrical and that there's no obvious lumps and bumps and that my apex is in the correct place. So I'll make sure that my side walls are straight, I'll make sure my free edge is straight and the shape that I want it, and then I'll buff over all the nail before I apply my top coat. Again, just to keep the length of the video down, I'm only going to show the thumbnail being filed and shaped. So now all the filing and shaping has been done, I'm just going to give them a quick wipe over with some alcohol, tidy up the desk, make sure that there's no dust or anything on the desk before I start my gel polish application. So the gel polish I'm using is called You're Beautiful from Glitterbels, and I absolutely love it. It is such a pretty spring colour, and oh, it's just gorgeous. So the middle finger and the ring finger are going to be a full coverage of this gorgeous colour, and then I was going to leave it like that, but then I thought no, it needs a little bit more, so I do go in and put a little bit just on the sort of nail bed area on the nails that have the foils. When I'm doing a gel polish application, I like to get it as close up to the cuticle area as possible, and the easiest and best way to do that is to just put a little bit of the gel polish that you're using onto a little palette, or I'm using a stamping plate, and then go in with like a liner brush, a fine liner brush, and just take it as close to the cuticle as you can. I do 2 coats of this colour on the ring finger and the middle finger, but whoopsie, I forgot to hit record. In with the top coat now for the middle finger and the ring finger, and it's at this point in my brain that I'm actually thinking about just adding a little bit more of that You're Beautiful to the rest of the nails. So I'm just freestyling this design, and I'm going to just fill in the cuticle bed, the cuticle and the nail bed area, just as if it was, I was doing a smile line, and then I'm going to completely fill that in and then do a second outer line with the You're Beautiful as well. So onto the little finger, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this finger as I did on the pointer finger, and I'll also do it on the thumb area. But just to keep the length of the video down for you guys, I'm not going to show the thumb being done, and then I'm just going to go straight into applying the rhinestones. So now that I've got all the You're Beautiful on the rest of the nails, I'm going to go ahead and top coat them all, and then I'll apply my rhinestones with my Rhinestone Glue. The Rhinestone Glue I got off Amazon. It's the brand is Tenator, and I have to say it's like cement. The rhinestones literally don't budge, no matter you know, if you're washing your hair, if you're doing housework. No, it literally doesn't budge. Your rhinestones have to be plied off with the cuticle nippers whenever you come for your maintenance. So I absolutely would recommend this Rhinestone Glue. I don't always use the caviar beads, but I kind of thought I would just add a few just in between all those rhinestones, just to close up any, you know, like negative space. As always, I always finish any nail service with some cuticle oil, and this is the coconut cuticle oil from Glitterbels, and it smells lush. And here is the finished set, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Hit that like button. And for those of you that haven't already subscribed to my channel, you could go ahead and help support my channel by hitting that subscribe button. And if you also hit the notification bell, you'll not miss any more of my videos. And I will see you all in the next video. So take care. See you soon. Bye.